Yo! What's in your iPad? It's me, Cheez Da Producer. Next to me is the man Cypha. Next to him is the man DragonFlyBry. And next to everybody, leading us off is the one, the only Ms.LeD. We are no, oh my God, I can't even talk. I got Corona vocal cords.
That Corona mixer board. Got that Corona mixer.
I hope not. I can't lie. I hope this makes people, like, the companies start like manufacturing stuff in the States, because Detroit needs that.
Okay.
Detroit needs that. Like, let's keep it a whole stack. Like,
sis, shut up. But yeah, these Midwestern states need that. They're the manufacturing gurus of the world. I live literally in the air capital city, where we build most of the world's aircraft. So.
That's crazy. That's wild right there.
All right. Well, today we got Mwashsoul coming on, another contestant in the last contest.
West Coast.
Oh, he's from Cali? I didn't know that.
I was just gonna say he's in the West. I didn't know that.
Think LA.
How you know that?
Think in LA. Because in the last contest, he said where he was from.
I should be listening more then.
West Coast.
I should be paying attention. Well, he should be coming in any second. Mwashsoul, we not even really supposed to offer this interview to Mwashsoul, but the reason I did, because I was so intrigued with his beat that I was like, guess what? I'm asking him to come on, because he had so many different styles going on in that beat. I was like, I need to talk to this man. I need to talk to him now. So I'm super happy because this time he broke his shit down. So he said they are not gonna put me in the bottom of the barrel. He broke that shit down. Good. I saw that much. Mwash, you there, Mwash?
I'm here. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you. But it's good.
Good.
How are you, Mwash? You chilling? We are so glad to have you on.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. My pleasure to be on you guys, to talk to you guys, actually.
Yes, I was just telling the fellas, I was so intrigued with your beat for the first contest that I was like, I have to have him on. You did a great job. And we were just saying, we saw that you entered the next one. And we briefly peeped, but good job. I see you put all your work in there. Thank you. So there's no problems this time.
Hey, I learned from the last one, so man, I got to show my work. I got to show a little bit more. So, out of my comfort, but I did it. So, like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do it. So.
Yeah, and then watch, it's a Cypha, man. And don't feel bad, because a lot of people have a hard time showing their work, man. So,
yeah. That's definitely like one of the hardest things to do, because I think people, I know for me, like when it comes to like showing like how I do stuff, I'm always worried about like how critical the internet can be, and people be like, oh no, that's not the way to do it. You actually supposed to do it this way, Half the time I when I get that thought, I also tell that thought in my head, shut the fuck up.
Real shit.
Sometimes you got to, man. So you gotta tell your head, just shut up.
There's multiple spokes on the wheel. There's more than one way to get to the same destination, bro.
Damn right about that.
But we appreciate you showing the work, because the purpose of doing that is, just to spread, the knowledge to so many other people and putting these videos together, you know what I mean? It's not that we want to see your secrets and things, you know what I mean? We just want to spread some knowledge to the other producers out there, and just to show like how, every producer has a special way of doing things, you know what I mean? So we definitely appreciate that. We start these interviews off with asking, what's your top 5 favorite apps to make music with?
Of top 5, Beatmaker 3, of course, Basis, Per, Synth, Chord, Gadget, and Chord, I Am One.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a solid 5. That's a solid 5.
Yeah, quick with it.
He's like, I watched the podcast. Y'all ain't gonna trap me.
I took notes. Exactly. I took notes.
You got the full bassalicious or the free joint? Because I've been rocking with the free bassalicious forever. And
I got the full one. I bought the full one.
You got the full one? Okay,
one or two?
Two.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, they both.
Okay, so I got bassalicious 1.
One is still good, even the free, but it was so good and my go so long that I bought it. Like, you know what? I need it.
Yo, the free one, like, no lie, like I have made like so many beats with that free bass. Like, I'll be like, damn, like I know they want me to buy this, but like I know how to dial in the right tone every single time. So I'm like, dude. All right, here we go. All right, I don't need presets, so I'm good.
And I think that's the first time we heard that bassalicious as a favorite, a top 5, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's my first time hearing it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bass head, so I love to play the bass. So all my
music. You play bass?
Well, on the keys, of course, but not an actual bass.
Okay. Oh no, because I'm a bassist. So anytime I meet somebody that play the bass, I'm like, oh, brother or sister, you know what I'm saying? Or non-gender conforming person.
Right.
I don't want no trouble, you know what I mean?
None of that static. That's dope though.
That's what's up.
So how long have you been producing for?
Woo, good Lord, where will we start? No, for around about 7 to 8 years. I took a break within a period of time because of my kids and whatnot. Was raising them and whatnot. And I recently got back into it for the past couple of years, taking it a little bit more seriously.
Okay. And did you start? What did you start on? And when did you jump to iOS?
Jump to iOS. Okay, I started on. Let me go back to my notes. I started on FL Studio. Well, even before that, I go way back. I go back to Synthsonic Drum by Mattel. It's a little.
That's me, man.
Yeah, I started on that back in the day. I didn't know what I really had as a kid, whatnot. Just a little toy. I was playing with it as a kid. I took it as a toy. I didn't know what I had at the time, so I just kept playing with it. Then I eventually tore it up, took it apart. With that. And then I started out with the Music Maker. I jumped into that. Then I jumped into FL Studio.
MTV, was that the game Music Maker?
No, it was the actual program Music Maker 10 software.
Okay.
That was for PC, right?
That was PC,
I
think. Yeah.
PC. Yeah, I jumped into that. And then, and had a FL Studio Producer edition, 2006 edition.
That was real hot around that time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember FL when everybody was going crazy over FL because this dude was Soulja Boy, and then people were even crazier after Knife Wonder told people he was using FL. Yeah.
Killing it.
Make it, because that was the time because it was similar to like the things we go through is like iOS people. Like people was like, oh, you can't make a good beat on software. You need hardware. And
right.
Knife came out was like I made all these beats on software, and they sound like an MPC. And people was losing their brains off of that. You know what I mean? So.
Then the Lex Luger tribe, the whole Lex Luger. Isn't that what Lex uses?
Yeah, everybody uses FL, man.
Yeah.
FL is today what like the MPC was like 20, 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
I think as a producer, you got to be crazy not to be willing to try anything you can. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? I understand you might have your workflow down with a certain thing, but I'm willing to try anything. If it's going to make me music, why not?
That's real. That's definitely real.
Well, I used to hate on it. I hated it on myself. So like when FL, like say 2 or 3, back when they just called it Fruity Loops, was out, say like in the late, like early 2000s, I guess. I was producing with Cubase and like other, like the real Pro Tools and stuff like that, right? And since it was like made by a video game person, it's like hard to just switch right over to FL, right? So the kids were using it. They're like, hey, I'm making these beats on FL. And I was like, oh, that's some shit, because the DAW's whack. Then I heard it and I was like, this stuff is actually pretty good. And then I'm like, hey, if you step it up to a real thing, you could be good one day, kind of like. Then time went on and I started hearing like more and more stuff. Yeah, don't get me wrong. No, I slept for a minute. But then, like more versions came out. And I think by the time like 4 or 5 came out, that's when like 808 Mafia and like Sizzle and all those guys are just killing it. And that's the same like Lex Luger, you know, like when they got like around 5 or 6, people start going in on it. And I was like, let me look at this again, man. And I still don't use it. I mean, like I don't use Fruity, but it's like I had to step back. The stuff you could do on it, like some of that bass bend and stuff, nobody's doing it. And the hi-hat chops, how you chop it in little pieces, it's some little things that Fruity does that nothing else can really like hold a candle to. After they came out, like people started trying to like make their own version of that workflow. But FL had his own way. Like if you make a beat and it's a certain workflow in mind, and you've been making beats in the same way, you start thinking that way, right? And then after you think that way, like you're like, you know what? I'm gonna make a beat. He's like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna chop it up in 5 ways. I'm gonna push this one button and chop this, and then I'm gonna put my 808. I'm gonna make it bend this way because you already know what the package is gonna do. So like after you get your tools hard, I mean, so then people start making these different beats, and then the OGs like me were like, oh damn, what are these kids doing? And then you have to start looking and see what's going on, man, because you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a truly valid thing. Like now everybody's trying to like kill, you know, match or kill it. Same with Reason when Reason came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't start me on Reason. The only reason, no pun intended, I don't have Reason right now is because my computer said like, you know, adios or whatever. You know what I mean? But like I definitely think I probably might be going back since I got this board. Like it's like calling me. It's like, yo, you got to do it, man. You know. Plus I also got the Waves bundle on my computer.
So Wash, man, where you at, man? You out in LA?
Yeah, I'm based out in Los Angeles. Yeah, I'm born and raised in Cali.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. You working with different artists out there, or you just selling beats? What you working on, man?
That's my end game, is to actually try to get into that type of field, to either work for somebody or start selling my beats. I'm still pretty much in a learning process. Since I took that hiatus off, you know, I'm trying to get back into the overall and everything. I'm trying to learn everything in the aspect to get my stuff out there.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this episode are in the same position. Aspiring producers and artists and the alike, you know, they're all in those similar positions of you know, just trying to figure out not only just the creative side, but the business side and how to market. And you know, it's all a learning process and trial and error. So
yeah, because I'm trying to learn as much as I can to get it right, to do it right this time around. You know,
absolute.
Yeah, because I have my cousin actually has a iPad a podcast show that she does a weekly podcast show. She used one of my beats a long way back. She just loved it so much she puts it on the show. So I have one of those running every week.
That's what's up, man. That's a good look.
Yeah, sure.
That's a good look. Now, sis, I know you said you wanted to ask him specifically about the entry he put in on the last contest of that beat. You made the sample. And you got confused.
What do you mean got confused?
I did because you had. I was waiting for it. Okay. The only part that I was confused was because you went. To me, it was like 4 different beats in one. And don't get me wrong, I love that. That's what I loved about it. The fact that you switched up so many times, I was like, this is amazing. And it had that boom bap. It had a little everything in it, but I love when someone puts that boom bap and style in there. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like the creativity, that track was like probably top for me for creativity. So the fact that we couldn't put you in top 4 killed me. I was so mad at you. I wanted it to be in. I think everybody's like, yo, right? I think everybody was like, only if we saw it, because I would say toward end, I didn't hear the sample, but then you had some samples there that I didn't know if you took that sample and changed it up so much that was the sample. And that was the reason we needed to see some work, because I couldn't tell, was this the sample towards the end, or did he do some crazy shit to this sample and made it sound totally different? So I really want to know, like, I'll say I definitely heard the sample in the first half of the song throughout, but the second ending, I didn't hear the sample, unless I'm wrong and you did some crazy shit to it. So that's really what I want to know.
Okay, so for the first part, you know, I played the intro. I explain everything. So I explained that intro part was the intro. I chopped it up and I tried to pitch it down to create my own little bass sound within that. over the beat, and I used another portion of a small sample, and I just repitched it out again, and I just try to make it so much different that you probably couldn't tell. I always try to keep some type of element of jazz into everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely heard the heavy West Coast influence in the beat too, man.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I definitely try to.
I also try to do that as well. I want to always try to show two different sides, jazz and the hip hop side as well. If I can combine both, cool, you know. If not, it just be one style or another style.
Yeah, you don't want to stay one dimensional. Right.
You do that jazz well, because I heard a couple of your entry made me pay attention to you. When I see you drop something, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of, like, if I'm going through Instagram on my feed, a lot of tracks, I listen to 3 seconds and I just skip past. I'm not liking the shit. I'm not doing nothing. But from after hearing your entry and I would see you in my feed, I would stop what I'm doing and make it my business to listen to anything else you dropped. And I was like, yo, this dude is mean with it. I love your work. And I see that jazz that you put in there is crazy. Like, that's my favorite style of music and beats, like what you've been doing. And I've been making it my business to listen and look for your shit. I love what you do.
Thank you.
So in no problem. In saying that, are you working on any beat tapes or anything in the future? You got any ideas for that? Because you definitely got to listen to here.
That's it. That's my end game. Like I said, I'm still learning. I'm trying to get back into it completely to do it right this time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have anything coming up right at the moment. I'm still working on a lot of beats, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of beats I need to get out because I got it. It's there to get it out. So I just want to learn as much as I can to do it right this time. Do it the right way this time.
You know what it sounds like to me? When usually somebody says that, and it might not be in your case, but when somebody says they want to do it right this time, you might have had. It sounds like you got a story to tell of somebody maybe stealing one of your beats, or did something ever happen like that to you, man?
No. What happened was a cat came to me about maybe 2 years ago, and like, dude, listen to your stuff, man. I want this beat, I want that beat. I want to buy like 10 beats of yours. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have anything set up.
Okay.
He couldn't go buy it anywhere. He like, dude, come on, you're not professional with it, but I want your stuff, but you can't do nothing for me, and I don't want to go that route again. Somebody wants to get something from me, cool. They can go to a spot and buy it, but I wasn't prepared. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like, man, that's money gone. Money coming in.
Right.
Hey, they had some money coming in, extra money coming. Like, man.
It's way easier nowadays because you could just, you could just put your beats on what's that, BeatStars, and you could start with a free page. You know what I mean, and tell people like, yo, if you want the beats, just go to BeatStars and send them a link, and then BeatStars they'll take a small percentage off your sales. So if you want to do it that way, you know what I mean, just to start, you can start it and then just figure out what the percentage they taking off and just add that to your price, so you could that way you really don't, you're not even really losing money when you think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like,
what were you using to cook up on back then? Like when you did those, when you had the 10 beats and you didn't have a way to put them out, what were you cooking up on back then?
Back then, I was FL Studio, FL.
Okay. Yeah.
And also at the time, what I did was I had a machine called Street Kings SB246. It was a portable drum machine. So I made the beats off of that. I ran it back into FL Studio.
Okay. That's the best way. If you feel, study your craft, get it down 1,000%, and then just boom, flood everything. That's the best way you could do it. So I feel you on that.
Learn one piece at a time, man. Like one thing I like that would I could say that if I could go back throughout the whole journey I've had, like the one thing I would do was I would buy one piece at a time. That's how I would have started. Because when I first started, I bought the drum machine, I bought the sampler, I bought the keyboard, I bought the 4-track.
You was overwhelmed?
Man, listen, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like,
you just sit in the room.
Yeah. The sampler sampled, and I knew the 4-track recorded. Yeah. And the keyboard, I bought that to play sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I'm like, it wasn't until like I had this one. Matter of fact, I know exactly what happened. I was in college, and my girlfriend got accepted to go abroad, and I did not. What else I was going to do? I learned. I just got this sample. It was a Yamaha joint, Yamaha SU 700. And I remember going to the store. The dude was like, "Yo, this is Yamaha's version of the MPC 3000." I couldn't afford no MPC 3000. That joint was like a third of the price. So I'm like, bring it in. You know what I mean? But I had got that in the sequencer too, and like I didn't know what the hell was going on. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember I sat down that one semester she was gone. I learned that sampler. Man, listen, I had that sampler flipping pancakes, making coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, you learn one piece at a time, like, and next thing you know, like, it'd be just like what Brad said, like, you start thinking in the way of your gear. You know what I mean? And like, and like that, like, to me, that's the most awesome thing ever. Like, you know, like you hear something to be like, oh, I'm gonna get home, I'm gonna throw this into this, I'm gonna put this on it, I'm gonna chop it here. Before you even start making a beat, you just hear the sample. You're like, oh, I'm about to flip this joint. I remember I was going to IKEA. I heard a song I heard a million times before, and just one part of it came on. I was like, oh. I just pulled out the notepad. Was like, yeah, we sampling this tonight. You know what I mean? And so yeah, definitely, you know, get that one piece at a time, and you'd be good money, man. Good money, or one app at a time. I should say nowadays. You know how we do.
I was going to ask, like, what do you prefer? Yeah, do you prefer the iOS now that you're on iOS?
Oh God, yes, yeah. Oh, most definitely. Everywhere. Work, take it to work, lunch break, I'm doing it. You know, straight up iOS. I recently bought a laptop, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I tried it out, and man, the portability is just not there. The ease is not there for me. I jumped back on the iPad, so you know, I'm good to go. I prefer the iPad.
And it's cheaper.
And it's cheaper, yeah. And it's cheaper, yeah.
Right. Compared to some of the software.
Yeah, cheaper. The fact that it's mobile, which is a huge topic that we talk about on this podcast a lot. So
hands-on.
And the same sound quality, though. The same sound quality is the big thing for me. So so when iPad apps were like the first version of GarageBand, it actually had good sound quality, but the sounds were limited, and you couldn't put sounds in it. It wasn't like plugins and stuff like that. But then after like Core Gadget and stuff like that started coming out, Beatmaker 2, they changed the game, man. Like I say, maybe like 5 years back, I get like pro.
You know, the funny thing is, people will hit you up and be like, "Oh, I think the sound's gonna be thin off an iPad, right?" And then like, I'll play my beat.
Yo, I hear that a lot too. Yep.
And they're like, "What you made that? I made that on." I'm like, "I made that on."
Like, tracks or audio tracks, man. So you can process an audio track anyway. It's like I just saw this mic shootout, and they're doing like a $300 mic against a $3,000 mic. But then they processed it and they put it through all the auto tune and pitch bend and stuff like that, and the effects and stuff. And at the end, bro, the difference was so small. It's like you wouldn't even buy that big mic. And it's the same thing with the iPad, right? So the iPad, if you know what you're doing halfway, you can make your tracks. You can spit them out. So say if you take any song that you make and put it out across your track board, and then pull all the faders down and put them up one at a time. Then it's not even an iPad no more. You see what I'm saying? Then you work with a song, and then if you treat it that way, which the iPad allows you to, you'll be able to have any kind of professional production that anybody would be able to do with anything else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
The future.
That's definitely a fact. Yes. Yeah. That's the beauty of not needing a big expensive studio. You know, just having an iOS device, man, will get you along. Yeah, man. So, Mwash, who's some of your influences, man? Who inspired you to make beats?
Probably everybody right there on that picture. No.
Exactly. Yeah, I saw it too.
I saw when I was like maybe 8, 19 years old. Went to a Christmas parade. And I saw these big bands coming down, like marching down, playing all the drums and whatnot, all these instruments. Like then all of a sudden, you're like 4 cats coming. They stopped, they tore it up. You know, like four dudes, sounding just like amazing, just doing their thing. Like versus a big old crowd of people. I said, man, that's something I want to do. Learn how to do that, play the drums and everything, whatnot. So I did. In junior high, I took electives, played the drums and whatnot. During that time, Art of Noise came out with a beatbox. I said, okay, I'm gonna learn how to do it. I'm gonna learn how to play that. I'm gonna learn that song. I learned it. So I learned it in the course, and I learned those in the class. I learned how to playing notes and whatnot, learn the drum, play the drums and whatnot. But during the time, I also playing that same beat in the class. The teacher caught me playing that in the class. Okay, you're gonna play that in front of everybody. I was like, huh? I said, what? Yeah. Since you over here messing around, come play this for everybody. I said, what? I said, okay, all right, whatever. So
I like your teaching.
Yeah, that was kind of messed up. To make a long story short, she made me play in front of the whole crowd, like parent teacher night. So I played it for the 7th and 8th grade. Then parent teacher night came up, and I played in front of them, and that's where it all started for me. I was so nervous. I ran off the stage like Napoleon Dynamite. Like, man, I'm done. Man,
I love him too.
I said, man, I was so nervous. I said, man, but the passion and the love for what I like to do was still there. So that's where it all started from. That's how
No, we was about to ask him about his favorite producers.
Oh, Dilla. Dilla, hands down, Dilla. For me, it's Dilla. That's it.
Oh,
Dilla, that's it.
I ain't mad at that.
Rest in peace, Dilla.
Word.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Dilla.
Because
I'm mad at that.
I had no idea how many produced, how much stuff he worked on, how much he did for different artists. I'm still learning to this day what he's done in the past. I'm like, man, it's ridiculous. His style, the way he does it is just like, man, it's top notch. I'm like, just impressed by him.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He's one of my favorites too.
I'm like, man, very simple with it.
Matter of fact, I did a mixtape with half his beats.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, called Two Halves of the Same Brain with my man Bloody Hands.
Wow, nice.
Dude, when I first heard the Uma on Track Called Quest, when I first heard the Uma production, when I first heard that group on like Beats, Rhymes, and Life, and I guess like the first albums that had Dilla like on the beats, I was like, something's different here. And then I started studying about Bob Power too. So the engineer was good, and then they had like a whole like Voltron production team, man.
Yeah.
It's like after that, you had to take note.
Yeah. I love looking at like the engineers and shit. I love who's behind getting that together and that sound,
Yeah. And then like Slum Village too, yeah.
Who's some of your favorite artists growing up out there in Cali, man?
Well, so I got to keep it West. I got Snoop, of course. Who else? Ice Cube. And I normally jump to the West Coast and East Coast. I got Redman, one of my favorites. Nas, of course.
I love Redman.
Redman. Yeah.
Whoever makes it the beats for Redman, since he came out, from the first time he came out, it's been fire. From the very first album, Muddy Waters, up until it's just been bananas, man. I'm not sure who does that production now, but it's
Eric Sermon. Eric Sermon.
That's what I said.
Yeah, mostly Eric Sermon now.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
Red said he learned it from Eric Sermon. Yeah,
Eric Sermon
had the MPC60 and the keyboard.
Oh, my God. Man.
Yo.
Superman lover. Woo.
Speaking of Eric Sermon, did anyone see the was it the I think it was the roulette shit.
Rhythm Roulette.
What's the name of the
Rhythm Roulette?
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all see him fumble that episode?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was weird.
I was mad. When I saw he was on that episode, I'm like, ooh, I got hype. And
he did it on like a motif or something. Like all on a motif or something, right?
That shit was ass. I was disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I was disappointed.
So it's like, I thought the beat would be fire, but it's like, I did learn a lot about his process. So if you go back and listen to his beats, he did that again and just came off a better beat. So if you know how we all make beats every day, you'll make a beat, we'll make beats all week and then pick like 3 hotties and throw away 10 beats, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he just made a throwaway beat, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just that day. And like, I was like, I'd love to go on that show too. But then if I'm doing it like from scratch, like for real, not using loops, anybody can have that day. Dice roll comes to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're using loops and you going on and you're like, hey, I'm about to chop up. Like people like, hey, I'm about to cook up. And this is no disrespect for the loop people. I like loops too. But when you're cooking up loops, it's a different thing than cooking up from scratch. Like from your first note, your first kick drum or snare, like you're doing it all without loops. It's a whole different thing. And on the Rhythm Roulette, nobody, back then it was nobody was doing loops. Well, except for like records, like had to be off wax.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I still was disappointed.
Yeah, no, I was too. No, I feel you.
But
I mean, it's kind of like the same, like the Timberland Masterclass. I mean, like some people have said same kind of like, but Timberland's been putting some more stuff out, more content out lately though. So
Yeah.
What people say, got bad reviews.
What was it saying about 10? What was it saying?
They're saying that on his masterclass is like he didn't talk about like the process of how he made music. It was like a lot of assistants kind of like loading stuff up for him, and then he'd play like a lot of loops.
Mm.
You know, but that's just, I mean, I didn't take it, so I can't give a real review on that.
Right.
But it's just I actually considered taking it, but then when I heard some people saying what you know, the topics that he covered, it's like, oh man, that's, you know, maybe not what I'm interested in.
Kind of makes you want to see some more of these producers too. I don't know if they turn them down. I'm sure some of them do with like the mass appeal format.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
The what's called Machine Masters just dropped a new on the spot with I think the Rockwilder.
Yes, they did.
I think I saw that too. I might have saw the thumbnail.
See it yet. My man just sent me the link, and I didn't want to watch it on my phone because you know I hate like I don't want to spoil it. Like I respect the Rockwilder that much.
Right.
I want to see. I want to see that like with the speakers. You know what I mean? So I can really hear it. You know,
getting the vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Mwash, how many beats you think you make in a week? I know you got kids and work and everything, so time is crazy, but
it's crazy. About three.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. It's kind of
hard to me. Yeah.
Because my day begins, for me personally, my personal time begins around about from 9 to 1. Then I have to turn around and get up to work to be to work at 7. So it all depends.
I get it.
Yeah, everybody gets it, man. We all we get it.
So I'm like, hey, go to sleep.
Right.
Go to sleep.
Do you use your phone? You use your phone and your iPad, or you just iPad only?
Just my iPad only. Yeah.
So look, put some of those apps on your phone, man, especially the ones that like have iPad and iPhone only. Because look, so I started doing this thing called January, maybe like 2 years ago. And in January, you're supposed to do like one piece of music every day. And it's like a stretch. I said one time I tried to do 5 a week, but using the phone like made it possible. And then use like little small devices. But like the iPad, I didn't always have it. But like having a phone like Beatmaker or like Core Gadget on the phone, like on a bathroom break, or like just in the hallway, or in line at a shop, and you know, like put your like some kind of headphones on, and you're in line at the store. You could get like a quick little beat going, and then come back and be like, oh yeah, I had that drum beat. Next thing you know, you put a bass line or like a little keyboard part on it. You're like, I'm about to go finish this up, and it's like a 15-minute finish up from that point.
Yeah.
But they don't make that. See, I have a Android phone, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Zenbeats is on Android.
Yeah, and you know what you can also do right now too? You can I'll send you his email. You can hit this dude up and you could be a beta tester for the Koala that's coming for Android.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to help him out, but all my Android devices are old as shit, so it's just not working. Like my shit won't go past the Android 5 or 4, and the shit is at like 8 or some shit now. So none of my devices are working, but he's definitely looking for people. I'll forward you his email, and you can hit him up. Okay, and he's cool. He's mad cool, and just be like, look, I got an Android, and I'm willing to, beta test, because he's trying to drop that Koala for Android.
Okay, cool.
That's a topic we got to discuss too. Like, what is actually out there for Android?
So the thing is, they're saying that it's like hard to they're saying that it's not profitable for people to make Android apps, because you have to test it out on more devices than on Apple's SDK. So if you make something on the iOS software development kit, it works on everything out the gate, because they already have their box pretty much defined. But since Android is kind of like a PC platform, you have to test it on a Note, you have to test it on the Galaxy, you have to test it on the phones and each operating system for the phones. And they're saying
this is true, you have to because
tweak, you have to tweak, your program for each one. So say you have to do like 10 tweaks instead of 1 tweak. And they're saying people are like, yo, instead of doing 10 tweaks, I'll just put it out for iOS.
Yeah. This is true, because you have to tell him specifically what you're working with. He needs to know exactly and which version of the Android software.
I was wondering the same thing. So at one point I had an Android phone, and then it came back to iOS, and that's part of the reason. Because like the apps, I already paid for the apps. I have like hundreds of dollars in the App Store already. If I have an iOS device, I just transfers over without buying, rebuying apps again.
Yeah.
So what got your jazz tip, man? So you started playing the drum machines and stuff like that. But what got you from doing the beats to the jazz?
I was born and raised listening to the jazz. Was jazz and pretty much all old school hip hop. Everything had their own unique and different sound versus what's happening today. I hear stuff today. I turn the radio off. I can't do it. I can't listen to it. I don't have a problem with it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's cool. So it's like what I'm saying is like, so when you first started making your first beats, you had the jazz stuff in mind already, and you were like using that influence already, or did you like hit a switch after someplace in there and say, I'm about to add this into my style?
No, I already had that influence already. It's just like I was comfortable with that, playing. So like I said, like I like to play the keys and whatnot, So I grew up with a piano in the house. Didn't know how to play, but I grew up with it. So everybody else could read and write music, but I just jumped on it because I play by ear. So I just, I was more comfortable that way. So I just took it,
I was a jazzer for a while too. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play jazz.
Yeah.
I used to play jazz bass. So like, I gotta like definitely got love for jazz. And I remember like the old hip hop beats and stuff like that. How much jazz used to be in it,
like heavy influence.
90s.
Yeah, heavy.
Like, remember Gang Starr made the Guru made the album, Jazzmatazz joint, like what I mean, like that was fire, So, what jazz artists like kind of like grab you?
Miles, Branford Marsalis. And we got, oh my God, David Brubaker, Take Five. There's a group called Take Five.
I know Take Five.
Okay, a whole bunch of cats. It's a lot of cats. But those are pretty much some of my favorites.
What do you think about Kamasi Washington, man?
Oh, it's nice.
He's on your side too, right?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, Thundercat. Those guys getting busy.
Thundercat be cracking me up, man. His videos is
I know.
He got that one crazy about the do-rag.
Cat head.
Yeah, he's a funny dude, man. He be killing that sax though.
Yeah, Robert Glasper. I mean, so one thing about the Robert Glasper crew, it's like I'm glad they're getting money, but they're kind of like also spreading out from jazz. They're kind of like branching out into like the throwback funk and hip hop a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of keeping them in the mainstream-ish, because jazz, I think Kamasi Washington was like the top of jazz for like the last couple of years, because just out of the scarcity of anybody that's like making any big noise. But then the whole crew, you look at like Thundercat, he could jump on stage with those guys anytime he wants, but he also comes out this whole new wave, you know what I'm saying?
Plus people playing like live instruments is so odd right now. You know what I mean? Like you don't like at least in the mainstream music, you know what I mean? Like you don't see it. Like and I mean, like it's more people like us, like in the world, like that pick up like computers and electronic devices and make music. Then I'm not saying there's more people that do that, but like each day, I would think each day it'll be more people that's starting off with like an electronic device than starting off with an instrument nowadays. And I think that it's kind of weird how that kind of happens. So like when you see people on stage playing instruments, it's like right now it's a novelty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because not many people do it.
Right.
Look how many people sing with auto-tune. You know what I'm saying?
Look, so it's a hack though. So like right now, I started playing instruments, then I got to the computer stuff, right? But like right now, if you started, we're like in a loop microwave internet era, right? So like anything that you do, you have to kind of like do it quick and get to the top of it. But pretty quick, you don't have time for it. So then somebody's like, hey, here's a loop pack. And, all those instruments that you want to play, you can get them right here. And you don't have to pay me no money or anything either. So like, okay. So then instead of me playing this for like hours a day just to get a teeny notch up, I could just do this one thing. And then it stacks up to everything else too. The vocals, the lyric, content. I mean, I'm not saying it sucks, but like the creativity is kind of like changed dimension, I guess you could say, because of the instant need to be better. So like, it's like a lost art on trying to be good at any craft. So like now they'll say, you know, learn your craft on a computer, or learn Fruity Loops real good, or learn, you know, Pro Tools real good, or learn anything like that. That's a lost art. So like even on iPad, somebody's like, okay, well, what's the best app to get this? What's the best app to get that? But sometimes all the stuff you need is all in one app.
Yeah.
So like on Cubase, you know, like on Cubase, it's the same thing. Like I can actually get most of it done instead of the chopping. But if you learn like one app super good, same thing. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, the funny thing is, if you actually sit down with Cubases and you turn the grid off, you can chop in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's an audio, it's just audio waveforms. Like
you can chop with the grid. Yeah.
Like,
totally can.
You know what I mean?
Chop it and put it back to the grid. No, right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like it gives you the freedom to do that, and it's over and whatnot. You know what I mean? But like it's just all in how much work people are willing to put into it. And like you said, like people like more so are they're willing to do something that they're good at immediately. And I don't know like how much stuff there is out there that's like that, where like the first time you do it, like you automatically like the man or the person, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, like, I don't know.
So I'm like in Wash though. So in Wash, you say you don't like the music from today, right? And I listen to every Friday I'll go on Apple Music and I'll hear the new stuff, so I can make sure I'm still on the wave, right? But I'm really listening for creativity, and like now it's 100 songs for every one out, but now I gotta listen to 100 songs to get that one.
I mean,
like to hear a really good song that's like somebody was really creative and it's something that's like sparking my interest. It's got I have to hear about 20 or 30 songs before I'm like, dang, this guy right. They put some thought into this one right here.
Well, I mean, lyrical wise, beats is fine, but with the lyrics, what they're trying to say and how they're rapping, I just don't feel that. But as far as the beat music goes, yes, I'm cool with that. But what they're talking about is no.
So lyrically, I put some of that on the record companies too, man. I won't keep. Now I know people are writing it, but it's also like what some people just want to get money, right? And they're like, well, what are they paying for? Right. And they're like, oh, I could get signed if I say this. I'm saying I think it's a broader problem than just that, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, a lot of the subject matter is still the same. A lot of the same narrative that, that's just perpetuated in our culture.
Well, they narrowed it down to the worst of the worst, and then now they concentrate on that. It's like from the 90s. So if you look at the 90s, it was like a real spread out on what people were saying, and they were signing rap because people were just buying rap. So they'd be like, hey, you rap? Cool. Here's your deal. Then between the 90s and the 2000s, like after NWA and all that, not to say disrespect, but they figured out where the money was going, and they're like, you know what? More money's going here than to PRT. When Poor Righteous Teachers, that was good that they did that stuff. That was nice, but we want to get 10 times the money. And then they're like, okay, so then the next record company's like, this company's killing us. What are they doing? Oh, they're doing this. So they start fine tuning to what the model for getting money is, and then they start paying money for that, and then people start saying, I need to fit this box to sign a contract, and then they fit the box and they sign. Right.
And unfortunately, I don't see that changing. As far as
not right now.
That's not happening.
Not right now.
Anytime soon.
The money's going to keep it how it's going.
Now you still got some out there that are against the grain and still do their thing, and we appreciate that definitely. You know what I'm saying? This overall model, like you said, it's pretty much been set in stone for damn near 2 decades now.
Well, they got us trained as customers. So like right now, we're about to go into an artist-led model, right? Where everybody we all could put out a record today, and it could go on every single phone. Like we could put out a record today, and everybody in this room could access it tomorrow, right? Or within minutes. But then we'll still go listen to Drake, and I'm not no disrespect to Drake, but you'll be like, nah, this is way better. And it could be somebody that's way better than Drake on your block, and on everybody's block, you got a better Drake. But like we won't listen to it because you're kind of like ingrained, like the radio tells you what to listen to. Media does kind of like the same thing now.
Too much clouding of somebody's status too, instead of just looking into their creativity and how they really, do their thing. So yeah, I mean, that's one of those fights that all of us as artists / producers, beat makers, that's just one of those fights that we're going to be involved with. It is not really a fight. I shouldn't say it's a fight, but, to try to get in with the mainstream and things like, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to be subjected to, some things that you're going to have to bend over, backwards to kind of conform to. Not saying that that's the case for everybody, but, for the mass majority, the way things is looking and the way things have been, it is a tough process, especially if you're used to doing your own thing. But that's the beauty of, technology, like you said, too, to go along with what you were saying. Like, you can put your own creativity and your own thing out in minutes. Now, you may not have the backing of a major label or something like that, but you can still make a really good living just making your own lane.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true.
So it shouldn't be discouraging at the same time.
You know, just say you just need 1,000 paying fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1,000 paying fans, and you could have a salary off music. You know what I mean? 1,000 people that's willing to pay you what, $50, $60 a year. You know,
or just come to one, or just come to one of your shows or one of your events. You know, just
but they got the stereotypes. It's 1,000 like people that if you get 1,000 of them that are just willing to pay for whatever it is that you do, and you figure you get them to pay what salary you want. You want 100,000, so you need 1,000 people to pay you $100 a year. You know what I mean? Like and that's not a huge number. You know what I mean? You think about shit, New York. There's 8 million people in New York City, and that's just the little smallest part of the state. You know what I mean? So everybody want to be like big. You know what I mean? But you could be medium and you can still eat. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
right.
You don't have
for
to,
sure.
It's shit, 1,000 people. That ain't even medium.
Yeah. So you may not even be you may not be a millionaire, but you could sure be 1,000 there.
Yeah,
you'd be nice.
You know what to do with your money.
And I'll be just happy, just fine.
Yeah, 1,000 goals.
Yeah, you may not have that private jet money, but you'll have that outskirts money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you live like a. I mean, you can live like a regular person that just go to work every day, except that the way you go to work, you just doing your music. You know what I mean? Like you gonna have a lot of work to do. you know, but I think it's gonna be equivalent to the same amount of this person getting up, going to work, dealing with shit that other people put on them and stuff like that. Like shit,
doing what you love, man.
Yeah. And that's what in Wash you said that's your ultimate goal. You know,
that is my ultimate goal. Yeah,
I think that's a little bit of everyone's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eat off of this.
But so when you go to listen to music, because I feel you when you said you can't fuck with the radio, 1,000%. So who do you listen to?
A lot of Dilla's instrumentals, and Redman, Nas, Snoop, Ice Cube. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the board.
So you go back like I do.
I go back. I go back. Yeah. I go back. Yeah. I go back.
Me too.
And other genres of music besides jazz?
Yeah. A little bit of rock. Don't get me wrong. You know, a little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rock is one of my favorite genres too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for the drums and guitar solos, of course.